If you're a student, chances are you have had to deal with the fear that comes with the examinations. But if anything that I have learned in 2023 is that something imaginary, such as fear, can lead to some very intense emotions and feelings, such as anxiety and depression, and yada yada yada. We know that stuff. But trust me, we don't want to be in that headspace. So, in this video, I'm going to be talking all about exam phobia, its causes, how to deal with it, and lots of examples from my personal life. Because as a previous board student, I got you, I have been through the same, and I do not want other students to go through the same. So I highly recommend watch the entire video to get a clear idea of where you stand right now. And yeah, if you like the video, then make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and press the notification bell so that you get notified whenever I post. Okay, let's get right into it. Chapter 1. What exactly is this fear of exams, also known as exam phobia, right? According to Google, it is a mental disorder that students experience with the coming of exams. I think that's a bit exaggerated, right? If I had to define it based upon my own experiences and my own thinking, I would say it is a situation where my mind um, instantly starts overthinking of all the possible outcomes, negative outcomes to be precise, of the examination. So, let me give you an example. Suppose I got my date sheet today and my exam is in a month, right? But my mind will instantly drift back to how I'm not prepared yet, how I still have two chapters left to complete, how everybody else is studying except for me, how I'm going to disappoint my parents, how I'm going to fail this test because I am not prepared yet. Mind you, I still have a month in my hand. I'm just not prepared yet. I can always start preparing right now and everything would be fine. But instead, I worry about how I'm not prepared yet, and that results in me thinking all sorts of negative thoughts over and over again. That results in me being more afraid of the examination than actually healthily prepare for it, which can benefit me in the long run. But I think overthinking the situation tricks my brain into thinking that I'm actually solving the problem, or I'm more analytically thinking about the examinations, which is just not true. What I'm doing is actually a huge disgrace to myself by stressing myself out about something as simple as an examination. I know not all of you might agree with me, but I genuinely think examinations are just a way to, yeah, what it says, test ourselves, test our abilities, what I we have studied, what we have learned so far, right? It is nothing that can determine your future. And let me tell you something, if you're afraid of disappointing someone, please don't be, because it is not your fault if your actions disappoint someone. They chose to be disappointed themselves. Every person chooses how they feels about a certain situation, and they chose to feel disappointed. There is nothing wrong with you, and it is not your fault, okay? But I'm gonna speak about more on this in the upcoming chapters. Okay, with that being said, let's move on to chapter 2, right? Number 1, you had the entire year to complete your syllabus. You had the entire year to study, but you didn't. And now you're feeling guilty as to why didn't I do it? I had like the entire year to study, and now I'm cramming a week before my examinations because I haven't done shit and I might fail. So let me just not do anything at all, right? No, that's not, definitely not the solution to do that. You had the entire year, but you didn't do anything. That's the past. What you have in your hand right now is the present, right? My teacher once said to me कि जब लोग कहते हैं कि पूरा साल बर्बाद करने के बाद एग्ज़ाम के पहले दिन पढ़ के क्या ही कर लोगे. दैट्स सच सो नॉट ट्रू, बिकॉज एग्ज़ाम के एक दिन पहले पढ़ के भी आप बहुत कुछ कर सकते हो. एग्ज़ाम के पहले पढ़ना भी मैटर करता है. इट्स नॉट कि पूरा साल पढ़ लिया तो एग्ज़ाम के पहले बिना पढ़ के हम जा सकते हैं, बिकॉज यू नीड टू रिवाइज वॉट यू हैव स्टडीड सो फार, राइट. पॉइंट नंबर 2, pressure from your surroundings. And I think this is the most common reason for every student, at least in India, कि you are pressurized or constantly told from your relatives, toxic relatives, from your parents, peer pressure. There are different types of pressures, right? That you have to get a certain type of score, otherwise you're a failure. You have to be like this, and most often the times it is bad when you're being compared to someone, especially if that's a sibling or your best friend. What I have to say for you is, um, you're not responsible for how others are treating you. It's not your fault that you're being compared to somebody else, okay? It's not their fault either that you're being compared to them, but it is your responsibility. um, just understand this, and uh, take it personally, but rather understand the perspective of the people who are comparing you, right? Because they lack something in themselves, and they are just look projecting their own insecurities up onto you. So it may not be your fault that they are comparing you to somebody else, but it definitely is your responsibility to react or respond to that, the projections that they have made on you, and react healthily, not unhealthily, not holding resentment against them, not trying to prove yourself to them. I know it's hard, because as child we always have this to make our parents proud and always make everyone happy. But I think कितना ही करोगे ना, at one point of time you have to realize कि no one did that for me, no one put me first. So अगर if उन्होंने नहीं किया तो मैं ही कर लेती, है ना. Anyways, number 3, your past examinations were not that exceptional. You didn't got a score that you expected, you didn't reach your goal, or you might have been told कि what you did was not enough. But I have talked about it in the previous point, so I will not go into there. क्योंकि देखो, कोई तो गलती हुई होगी ना अगर नंबर कम आए हैं, तो वो हमें एक डर जगा देता है कि क्या पता अगले एग्ज़ाम्स में ऐसा ही हो जाए. आई हैव एक्सपीरियंस दिस इन माई 10th प्री बोर्ड्स. मेरे नंबर मैथ्स में बहुत कम थे, बहुत मतलब बहुत कम थे. मैं एग्ज़ाम देने के बाद मैं लिटरली रोई हूँ. एंड उसके बाद रिज़ल्ट्स जब आया, आई क्राइड देन ऑल्सो. तो इसके बाद जब हमारा सेकेंड प्री बोर्ड हुआ, आई वॉज स्कैर्ड. I mean, I was really scared कि बाय गॉड मेरा एग्ज़ाम तो गया इस बार भी. उस बार तो पास हो गई थी, इस बार फेल हो जाना है मैंने. मैं पास हो गई. पास नहीं, अच्छे ठीक ठाक नंबर आ गए थे मेरे, ठीक है. आई fought with my fear back then. A year back, I fought with my fear so damn hard, and mind you, I won. Anyways, you set unrealistic standards for yourself. I think this is the most important one so far, and this is the point that I experienced, that I went through. I set unrealistic, literally unrealistic standards for myself during my 10th boards examination. Um, we in Let me elaborate a bit as to what happens in this situation. We tend to put pressure on ourselves about this unrealistic marks, about this percentage कि अगर ये नहीं तो कुछ भी नहीं, अगर इससे 1% भी नीचे आ गया तो बेहतर है कि मैं फ़ेल ही कर जाऊँ, है ना? ये नहीं आया तो मैं तो फ़ेल हो गई, ऐसा है। I know it might sound a bit weird, but I did set a standard of 99% for myself in my 10th examination. I didn't got 99%. I did got really good, I'd say, percentage based on how afraid I was, but it wasn't 99%. And मेरा वही दिमाग में चल रहा था कि यार अगर 99% नहीं आया तब तो हो गया, फिर तो कैसे मैं टॉपर बनूँगी, कैसे, हाउ आई एम गोना मेक माई पेरेंट्स एंड माई टीचर्स प्राउड ऑफ मी, हाउ दे आर गोना बी सो डिसअपॉइंटेड इन मी अगर मेरा 99% नहीं आया। पर उन्होंने कभी मुझसे कहा ही नहीं कि तेरे को 99% लाना है। नो वन एवर प्रेशर्ड मी। उन्होंने जस्ट बोला कि अपना 100% दो, बाकी का देखा जाएगा। बट आई प्रेशर्ड माई सेल्फ अ लॉट कि तेरे को 99% लाना ही है, और वो प्रेशर मैंने 10th के स्टार्टिंग से खुद को देना शुरू कर दिया था। दैट्स वाई बाय द एंड ऑफ second pre-board I was so damn pressured, सोना खाना सब इम्पैक्ट हो गया था मेरा। तो ये नहीं करना है, प्लीज़ ये गलती मत करो कि अगर ये सर्टेन टाइप ऑफ स्कोर नहीं आया देन यू आर वर्थलेस, यू आर नॉट गुड इनफ। नो, just do your best. You are good enough regardless. For the people that truly care about you, that truly love you, they do not care about your marks. Please get that inside your head. Chapter 3: Impact of Exam Phobia. Number 1: so you will procrastinate. I know it sounds weird because if you're constantly thinking about it, you should be able to do the work, right? No, you won't be able to do the work. As I spoke earlier in this video, कि अगर ओवर थिंकिंग हमारे ब्रेन को ट्रिक करता है दैट वी आर डूइंग समथिंग इफेक्टिव, वी आर पुटिंग द वर्क, बट वी एक्चुअली आर नॉट। वी आर, और फिर एग्ज़ाम के एक दिन पहले हमको रियलाइज़ होता है कि बिकॉज द टास्क वॉज हार्ड, we were constantly thinking about the task rather than actually start doing it. Once you started, trust me, it's not that hard, but हम ये ओवरथिंक करने लग जाते हैं कि ओ माय गॉड ये तो बहुत मुश्किल है, कैसे करूँगी, ये कैसे करूँगी करते करते एग्ज़ाम्स का पहला दिन मतलब आ जाता है, और तब आपको रियलाइज़ होता है कि अरे मैं तो सोचती ही रह गई। I never actually did the task, I just kept thinking about it. Number 2: you might grow envious towards those who have the score or have the position that you desired. This is not very frequent, but at the same time is present in a lot of cases, क्योंकि you don't see the amount of work they put into it. You just think कि life is unfair and what you wanted has been given to somebody else. Number 3: if this fear and overthinking gets really long, prolonged and intense, it might hamper your sleep schedule, which does results in more stress, more overthinking, basically cherry on the top. So if another thing I have realized in 2023 is कि sleep and rest is equally important. आप पढ़ाई पे फोकस करते करते ऐसा नहीं है कि बिना सोए बस पढ़ते रहो। यू आर अ ह्यूमन, यू आर नॉट अ मशीन। नंबर 4: तो आपका ये जो डर है, दिस स्ट्रेस, इट हैज़ टू गेट आउट, राइट? तो टू जस्ट डिस्ट्रैक्ट योर सेल्फ, you are, some people tend to direct it towards scrolling social media and procrastinate, whereas other people, a lot of people, it results into binge eating. You tend to eat a lot of fast food and just a lot of food, or some people just do not eat food at all. Nutrition is a very vital part of your health, and you really need to focus on your nutrition as well along with your sleep schedule, क्योंकि if you do not have the energy to study, you are not going to study, it results in more stress. Please take your nutrition, take food, have a balanced diet, maintain your health as much as you are maintaining your studies. It's equally important. Number five, many people do not know this, but if you have something on your mind, if there is something abnormal going on in your mind, it will result in physical abnormalities as well. अगर आपके दिमाग पे कुछ चल रहा है तो आपके फिजिकल हेल्थ पे भी उसके इफ़ेक्ट्स पड़ेंगे. I think a good book which really talks about this is You Can Heal Your Life by Louise L. Hay. I read it last year and it is a really, really great book. It really talks about how your mental health impacts your physical health as well. Anyways, um, as for my case, I had fever and it lasted for I think 3 days. I had high fever, along with, on top of that, I had developed a eye infection in my right eye, I think, and it was really, really painful. आई एम स्टिल ग्रेटफुल क्योंकि मेरे सोशल के एग्ज़ाम के पहले 15 या फिर 14 दिनों का गैप था, एंड दैट रियली हेल्प्ड क्योंकि आई वॉजेंट एबल टू स्टडी फॉर लाइक 5 days because of my fever and the sty that I had in my eye. So the point is कि if you have this fear, recurring fear in your mind, it will try to get out of your mind through physical ways. So the last 2 points that I'm gonna say is number 6, it can cause you to have constant panic attacks and mental breakdowns. If it gets a bit intense, and trust me, you do not even realize when it gets intense if you don't realize that you're having, it's not just normal fear, and it's an exam phobia. And number 7, depression and anxiety in the long run. I hope no one has to go through these two phases. Okay, so we are coming to the end of this video, and this is the most important chapter which contains the most effective solutions that I'm going to give. So before I getting into this chapter, I would like to say that while following these steps, please do not look out for immediate results. Please don't be desperate that I did it for one day and I'm not finding any results. ऐसे काम नहीं होता. You have to at least do it for 3 to 5 days to actually see result, and just don't look for results. Just focus on the process. It'll come to you. Trust me, it will come. So I would also like to add कि this fear induced due to the exams only goes away once the exams goes away. Unfortunately, this is the harsh truth. But I was not able to eliminate the fear completely, but I can tell you a few steps that you can implement starting today to deal with it healthily rather than just shoving it under the rug, right? We can deal with it, and that really helps during and the before the examinations. Let's get right into it. Number 1, we tend to overthink about situations, about the future, but the truth is we can never predict the future, right? So I want you to focus more on what's the next step right after what you're doing right now. For example, I'm making this video, right? What's the next step right after I shoot this video? Right after it. It's not gonna be that I'm gonna go out and study. No, it's gonna be कि मैं जो settings मैंने कर रखी है अभी, I'll just organize everything back, and I'll close my camera, I'll close my laptop, and I'll just sit in my study table. That is gonna be my next step. So I want you to focus on the next step right after what you're doing right now. Okay, another great way to just come back to the present moment is to focus on your body rather than focusing on your mind. And the best way to do this, I'd suggest, is meditation. When you're going through this fear, meditation can seem a bit, you know, might not work, but ऐसा नहीं है, meditation does works. But when you're going through the some sort of fear or anxiety and such feelings, I really suggest कि please do meditation 3 times a day. Doesn't has to be anything you tough or critical. You just have to go on YouTube, search 5 minute meditation for anxiety or overthinking or whatever, or fear, and do it 3 times a day. One, right after you wake up, when you after you have freshened up, do your meditation before studying. Number two, in the afternoon. And number three, at night before you go to sleep. Meditation really helps you calm your brain down and just tell your mind कि इतनी बड़ी प्रॉब्लम नहीं है जितना तुम बना रहे हो, प्लीज़ शांत हो जाओ and let me focus on this. Okay. Number three, talking about nights, I want you to journal. Journaling might seem tough. हम हमेशा इंटरनेट पे देखते हैं कि डिज़ाइन लगाते हैं, स्टिकर लगाते हैं. No, it does not needs to be tough. You just need to write down every thought that comes to your mind right before you go to sleep. I want you to write down everything you went through that day, good or bad, what happened, what did not happen, what fears you, what doesn't fears you, and at the end, I want you to write 3 things that you're grateful for. It can be as simple as something like the dinner you had, how tasty it was, or how it made you feel full. I know it's hard to just comprehend the taste in a moment like this, but you may not feel internally really grateful, but I still want you to write down because I believe just writing it down really signals to your brain subconsciously that okay, this happened today and I'm fortunate to have this, regardless of if you believe it or not, because eventually you are going to believe it. This next step is not for everyone, but if it is possible to you, please talk about your worries and your concerns and your fears to someone you trust, someone you know is gonna listen to you, is gonna understand you. Please talk to them about your worries and concern. Okay, it really helps do that with someone you know is gonna love you, support you regardless of it. But for those who are do not have this um, anyone to talk to or anything like that, you're not alone. You know why? Because you have yourself. You have a mirror in your house. Everybody has a mirror in their house, okay? Even if you do not have a mirror, you have a phone. Just open your camera, open your video app, and talk. Just talk to yourself. I know it sounds weird to many of you, but it is not weird. I literally talk to myself. People sometimes think I'm crazy. My mom sometimes asks me, "Who are you talking to?" But I'm like, I'm talking to myself. Why would I talk to anyone else when I have myself? Trust me, you're gonna come and realize so much about yourself if you just talk to yourself. One tip I can give you while talking to yourself is please do not lie. Please do not lie to yourself. Please do not look into the mirror, into your own eyes, and say, ki, I'm okay, when you're clearly fucking not. Don't do that, please. If you're not okay, accept that you're not okay. It's okay to have negative feelings. You're human, you're not some robot that doesn't feel anything. We often tend to just shove our negative feelings like anger, irritation under the rug, thinking that, oh, they are bad. They are not bad. They are just trying to tell you something. Listen to what your negative feelings are trying to tell you. Just sit with your feelings. I'm not kidding. Just sit for like 15 minutes, half an hour, and you'll see that all sorts of thoughts come to you, all thoughts of all sorts of stuff, just you just start feeling, and then once you start feeling, the words naturally come into you, and then you just journal it out or talk it out, and you're good to go. Another thing is, question yourself until your fear becomes illogical. I am afraid. Why am I afraid? Because I haven't fully prepared yet. Why haven't I fully prepared yet? Because I think it's tough. Is it actually tough? No, it's not. Am I making it seem like it is? Yes, I am. Then what can I do to make myself feel better? This way, your steps are gonna be clear. So question yourself until your fear becomes totally illogical. Another step that I did was to write a list of all the negative thoughts that I'm having. Like, take a paper, divide it into half, and in this side, left side, write all the negative thoughts point wise you're having about yourself, about your situation. And against it, write all the opposite positive thoughts about all the negative thoughts that you're having, and read those simultaneously. Like, read the negative thought and read the positive thought. It just makes you feel so much better instantly. Finally, have faith. I think this is the most important point in this chapter or in this whole video. If you're taking anything from this video, please take this, that have faith. Have faith in God, have faith in universe, whoever you believe in, because I strongly, strongly believe it's not an ending unless it's happy. I know that's a bit superficial, but the sole thing that kept me going during my this exam phobia period was my faith in God. It just strengthened so much, and I just realized that even if I seem alone, I'm not. I have God by my side, always, everywhere, anywhere. If possible, ask God for signs, He gives it. I have received it myself during my maths examination, and I cannot ever forget that incident in my life. Please have faith. And one thing I did having faith was constantly telling myself that everything is working out for me and everything will work out for me always. This is the sentence that I always told myself before I went to bed, while I was eating, while I was just thinking, sitting, studying, always. And I still genuinely believe that everything does works in my favor, that everything does always works out for me. Yeah, please have faith. In the end, I just want you to know that you're doing great. I am so proud of you for just clicking onto this video and dealing with your fear. It's hard to fight the world, but the fight is even harder when you are doing it with yourself. When you just constantly have to fight yourself and no one understands what you're going through. So hold still, because I'm so proud of you and I love you if you clicked on this video, and I'm so grateful for it. Thank you so much, and I love you. Bye.